UNI Furniture in downtown Logan.
Over. And now KVNU Aggie Game Day continues on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan. A complete recap of all the action of your Utah State Aggies. Phone calls and texts are welcome. Aggie Game Day coverage is sponsored by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, LSS Insurance, Young Truck and Trailer, DD Auto and Salvage, My Mattress, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Elements Restaurant, White Pine Funeral Home, ChemDry of Northern Utah, Aegis Home Health and Hospice, Les Olson Company, Prodigy Brewing, Cache Valley Bank, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, S.E. Needham Jewelers, and Golden Spike Electric. It's KVNU Aggie Call with Al Lewis and Eric Branson.
And tonight, we have a special guest in again, and that is Zach Van Leeuwen joining with us tonight, the former Aggie receiver. So, again, we're going to have a good show tonight because Utah State wins their homecoming game. They go to 2-1 against Air Force on homecomings, and the Aggies played, you'd have to say, offensively, probably their most complete full game of the year, the way they did it with Cooper Lega. And boy, did the defense all of a sudden changed the game in the second half, not letting Air Force drive and score. They did early in the second half with their first possession. They were able to they needed a trick play, actually, kind of a little wheel route out of the backfield to a guy in motion, and the pick play where everybody got stuck up on the whole deal and the guy was wide open down the sidelines to even have a chance to make this interesting towards the end. But the Aggies win it tonight by 34-27 over the Academy, and Utah State is a 1-1 Mountain West team. And like we said right at the top, very, very much alive in this conference race if you win this game, and the Aggies did. So, again, as we said, Zach Van Leeuwen with us. He was in the stadium, and it was fun up there tonight.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was the most energy that I've seen being in the stadium. I've been at every home game this year, and the fans were into it. The end, it was super energetic. It was a lot of fun. I mean, to see the Aggies rolling on both sides of the ball and to get a win at home. So it was a great atmosphere being there tonight.
So Zach will answer your football questions tonight you may have about the game. We appreciate him joining with us. Ryan Bohm had a trip planned that he had to take this weekend before the year even started, so we knew he wouldn't be here tonight. But Eric Franson's across the way, and your observation, Eric, on the game.
Well, just really impressed with how Utah State offensively was able to continue to move the ball forward, even though, I should say, on drives. They had their fair amount of negative plays that worked against them, penalties or plays that got blown up behind the line of scrimmage. Air Force had like 7 tackles for loss tonight. But despite that, Utah State was able to overcome those setbacks today, and we saw kind of a change that was happening in the first half against BYU, but then it started to fade, and we had some hope that maybe this team was turning the tide a little bit, but unsure if it could be sustained. And today they did. I mean, give them credit, not just offensively for how they're able to score on almost every possession, but defensively able to maintain and contend with a really stout running attack from Air Force today.
They held Air Force in this game, by the stats that I see, Air Force 264 rushing yards. I mean, we have given up over 400 the last couple of years to Air Force, are very, very close to it. So that is a job. And again, at the half, Air Force did have 185 rushing. So they didn't get 80 yards in the second half. Zach, that's not easy to do against Air Force to do that.
No, it's definitely not easy. I think I saw the stat going into the game, too, that Air Force was averaging about 379 yards a game.
Number 1 in the nation.
So, yeah, and like 87% of their plays are run plays. So
they ran 30 straight run plays at one time in the game.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy to shut down Air Force's rush offense. Being in games, having played against them, they always had huge rush attacks against us, but they did a great job in the second half of shutting down the fullback, and that's kind of the key to slowing down Air Force's triple option offense. So.
Yep, Air Force only ended up with we really shut them down in the second half running the football. They did finally have to pass a little bit to try to come from behind. You get 2 scores ahead of Air Force in the fourth quarter, that's where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. That's always the keys to the game, playing against Air Force. If you can trade off scoring like that, but then if you can get ahead 2 scores, it puts them out of what they like to do, and then they have to throw the ball.
Eric, you just touched on something's changed. In the BYU game, we saw a little bit of it. And, I mean, whatever you want to say, Cooper Lega has given this team a push. He really has helped this team.
He's given him life. He can extend plays. He can buy himself time. He can wiggle out of tight situations, and he's not afraid to press the ball upfield. Passing a little better today, but not as many turnovers as against BYU. Still some things that weren't quite on point, but what he's doing with his feet really is what's making the big difference for Utah State, being able to extend those plays, extend those drives, keep the offense on the field, give the defense a rest. And that was really critical in my mind, is that the defense needed to be able to have time to settle and catch their breath, because when Air Force has the ball, those are long, sustained drives. And if the offense isn't doing its part, it could have got out of hand really quickly.
I mean, that's a really good point that Eric makes, because here, look at this, Zach. Aggies' first drive, 8 plays. Their second drive, 9 plays. Their third drive, 7 plays. Then they have 4 plays before they tried to throw to the end zone at the end of the first half, and that one was picked off. Then they get their only 3 and out to start the second half. And then when Air Force went back and scored, and got just a field goal to extend their 14-13 lead at the half. Air Force led 14-13. They have to make it 17-13. I'm thinking, okay, there's a little bit of a win in there because they did that fake punt that kept the drive going. Then the Aggies come back and go 13 plays for a score to take the lead. Then Air Force scores again, and then the Aggies another 10 plays, shovel pass on 4th down to get a touchdown on that play to make it 27-24. And then the defense comes through in the fourth quarter with the punch. After Grayson had the pass interference call against him, he forced the fumble, or recovered the fumble after it was punched out, and then Laga exploded. And then, I mean, that's where you have to. I think Eric's really point is you have to move the ball too against these guys and keep it away from them.
Yeah, that's a great point. If you're offensively only running 3 to 4 plays, defense will have a minute and a half max to recover. And playing against Air Force is probably the most physical team you'll play against all year. And if you only get 3 plays, the rest 3 to 4 plays, then they're going to rush for those 400 yards like they have in the past. But if you're giving them that time, your defense that time to recover, and Aggies looked great offensively tonight.
Laga was really good, 18 of 23, 215 yards, did throw the interception, but was trying to make a play at the end of the first half. So that's our only turnover. Defense forced 2 turnovers there later in the game because the interception by Carter after he punched the ball away on the play before. So Laga rushes for 76 and a touchdown, passes for 2 touchdowns, and throws for 215. I felt like we needed to have a better passing game tonight besides the running attack. And we still got tied at 109 yards running the ball. So I think we saw that. And, of course, also Brian Cobbs is a big star defensively. There's some people over there that really did stand out. Johnny Carter, we mentioned. Byron Vaughn's up front. There were some plays made. We'll talk about those things as well. We give you an opportunity always to join with us on the show with your texting and with your phone calls. So Aggies win 34-27 over the Air Force Academy Falcons, stopped a 4-game losing streak, win on homecoming, and stay in the conference race where they're trying to defend their title. So let's hear from you with a text. It is 435-339-0321 is the text line number, or you can call us at 753-5868, 753-KVNU, our phone number. We're here to talk about it, again, as Utah State beats Air Force tonight. And Aggie Call postgame on both the Fan and KVNU, brought to you by, they're on 2900 South Highway 89, Young Truck and Trailers Center. Again, offering all kinds of trailers and flatbed work trucks at great pricing. And we're also brought to you by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat. The Allergy Clinic and Hearing Aid Center are also part of them in that new medical center building there in North Logan. Also, they're in Providence, and most insurance products like SelectMed are accepted. Again, you can go to CacheValleyENT.com for more details. Aggies win. Let's talk about it on Aggie Call postgame here on KVNU and the Fan.
Don't get caught without power after a windstorm or a major winter freeze. Golden Spike Electric offers Generac backup generators so you can be prepared and keep your home warm while avoiding frozen pipes. Golden Spike Electric is one of the largest Generac dealers around, so you know it'll be installed right. Whether you're a homeowner or an electrician, contact Golden Spike Electric to rest easy the next time the power goes out. Online at GSEgenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. They also service other models.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
My name is Chris Hammond. My wife really appreciates a clean home, especially with 3 kids and 2 dogs. So when it comes to our carpets being cleaned, I always go to Daryl from Chem Drive, Northern Utah. His team is quick, on time, and precise. They do a great job of making sure our home and our carpets are clean. Thank you, Chem Drive of Northern Utah.
Chem Drive of Northern Utah. Chem Drive of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
Hi, this is Bob Larson from LSS Insurance. Every plan, every option, every way to save costs and add benefits. When you call us at LSS Insurance, you do not need to worry about FOMO, fear of missing out. We guarantee to get you the best possible Medicare plans. Let LSS Insurance personalize your Medicare needs. Now is the time to adjust your current plan or sign up for the coming year. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493. Go to lssins.com or come to our free third Thursday meeting at our office.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by DD Auto and Salvage on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
And we appreciate you joining with us tonight, and we appreciate Zach Van Leeuwen coming in to be our guest analyst of this one tonight, our football guy who played for the Aggies. Zach, the years you played for the Aggies, I know it was Matt Welch as the coach. What years did you play?
2014 and 17 was my last season.
Okay, so 14 to 17. Zach was a part of the Aggie teams. Eric Franson is here with me, and we do have our first caller tonight. Remember, our number is 753-KVNU. Let's go to Wes. Wes, what's on your mind tonight, besides an Aggie win?
Yeah, go Aggies. I was just super excited to see a complete game. The defense was energized. I think the offense, being successful, added a lot of energy to the sideline and to the defense. And just can't say enough about having a complete team. It's great to see get back with their, little swagger. I wish we could have seen this, from game one to see, we could be a 4-1 team if we would have started it with the personnel we got. So great to see, happy for the Aggies, and go Aggies.
All right, Wes, thanks for joining with us again. And that's the thing. It is a complete win. Really from the start, even though, they did get, a 30-yard run by Roberts one time in the game. I'll tell you what, Zach, I know you didn't play, maybe in high school you played some defense, but trying to stop those inside runs, that eventually just wears on you. And we were looking like, finally, a fresher, more excited football team in the second half. We've come out sometimes in the second half and not made the adjustments against some of the opponents, and we look like we had gotten tougher against the run in the second half in this game.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially against a type of run-heavy offense like Air Force runs. They've been running that for probably 100 years now, and so they definitely know how to execute at a high level with their triple option attack. As far as defensively, I know there's a lot of assignments that go into that. Especially, we would be giving our defense a look all the way in fall camp. They'd be practicing looks against Air Force's offense, just so that they were more familiar with it, so that when it became game week, it wasn't like a big, oh crap, surprise for you, but they're constantly repping it a month and a half before the game's even here.
Well, so unique and so different from what you normally see. There's every team poses different challenges, but this is such a unique style that if you wait until game week, then you're you're toast.
Yeah, most of the time, I think, like you said, I think the coaches have tried to spend some of fall camp. Obviously game weeks they can't start to do that. But it's hard to just put everything in. We did have one extra day because they did go back to practice Sunday because BYU was Thursday rather than practice starting on Monday. Yeah. So they'd done some in the fall for this one, and then they did have one extra day. So it probably helped a little bit, too.
Yeah, I think it definitely helped. I know they were talking on the television, too. Coach Banda was giving the grad assistants a lot of credit for, doing the scouting, watching the film, and then just the scout team in general and giving them a look because – if the scout team's not giving you a good look for Air Force, then you're not going to execute.
And it's totally the way you block differently than everybody else blocks. So the scout guys have to learn a whole lot in a short amount of time to be able to do that. We do have Nick on the line who wants to join with us. Again, our number is 753-5868. 753-KVNU. Nick, after the Aggies' 34-27 win, what's up?
Hey guys, it's good to see some complementary football up in Logan again. Looks like the offense is complementing the defense, and the defense complementing the offense. I do have a question for Zach. Coming from a wide receiver's perspective, obviously Cooper is a bit different, and the receivers have to adjust and play what seems to be more off-scripted a little bit in terms of extended plays, things like that. So just was wondering what his perspective was, and also wanted to see if he has found his golf game yet. So anyways, go Aggies. Thanks, guys.
I know who this is now. Definitely, I mean, you got to be able to keep plays alive, especially with Cooper and his feet and his ability to, extend plays. Receivers, you're taught to run your route, and then if you haven't gotten the ball and you see the quarterback scrambling, if you're deep, you're coming back to the quarterback. If you're short, you're going now deep up the field, being able to stay level. So it's definitely, you got to be more aware with the mobile quarterback. But, I mean, I thought that the receivers executed great, especially when he did get outside the pocket, being able to work back towards him and extending plays. I think Cooper hit Cobbs a couple times on plays where he kept it alive.
We need to talk, when you got here, just quickly before we started, Brian Cobbs has been a different guy the last two games. He was even a different guy tonight than he was against BYU. 10 catches against BYU seemed to kind of open him up, but he was a physical receiver when we needed one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like I've mentioned earlier when I first was on the radio, I've trained with him when I've worked with my brothers.
Yeah, you've worked with your wide receivers and stuff, yeah.
I thought he was a very special receiver, and I think these last two games have gave him that confidence, and he is a receiver that should be having 8 to 10 catches a game because of his ability to use his size, his ability to get open. And I think we really saw that tonight because it wasn't like they were playing off. They played him in press coverage, and he was even getting off the ball with his releases. He was making tough catches on those third downs and fourth downs, those slants. He looked really good tonight.
Mm-hmm. How about 4th and 1, and we run a slant play for a first down?
That's a lot of trust.
That is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of trust between quarterback and receiver.
And you can tell that, I don't know, see, he didn't get Logan Bonner until Bonner could come back in about May. I think it was when he started to throw a little bit with the receivers, but maybe didn't get as much. He probably got more with Cooper Lega because of spring football when he was playing, and then you get into that. So maybe he was more connected in some ways to Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps when you have chemistry, when you're throwing constantly with your quarterbacks. That right there just cultivates the trust. So I think there definitely was that during the off season, and it showed tonight. So
we have needed, though, the defense tonight does win the turnover battle, and really you could almost say it's 2-0 because I mean Lega's trying to do something at the end of the first half and chucking the ball towards the goal line. It was almost like a punt in some ways if you can't score right there. You're just trying to do something in the first half. But the defense did make some plays when they had to make those plays for those turnovers in this game. Now, the quarterback threw a bad pass on the last one. But, Air Force is driving. That guy runs for about 20 yards on that play, and they punched the ball out, and the defense was aggressive and got the ball.
Yeah, kudos to Johnny Carter, who punched the ball out, and then he got the interception later. The defense did some things that kept drives alive for Air Force, but they also dialed things up and got better as the game went on. I thought Byron Vaughn's in the second half, especially that fourth quarter, was fantastic. He was making plays. He was spinning around, putting pressure on the quarterback.
Making them get holding calls.
Being really a disruptor. Very, very effective. Great second half for Byron Vaughn's and that defense overall.
Aggie post-game game day is brought to you by Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning. You can save big on their heating and cooling systems right now towards winter. Make sure you check with them Monday on that 752-7272. And we're also brought to you by My Mattress. Remember, they also do feature Tempur-Pedic. And Travis and Ryan are the sleep experts to see down by the South Walmart for all of your bed needs. It's a great day when the Aggies win 34-27. And BYU loses to Notre Dame 28-20, and Utah loses to UCLA today in college football. So, yeah, we've had a good day. All right, we'll be back with more, and we'd love to have you join with us. Phone number, 753-5868. We got texts, I'm sure, available too. 888-339-0321 on the text line. We're going to hear from the stadium, the players and coaches after the Aggies win 34-27 on Game Day on the Fan and KVNU.
Aegis Home Health and Hospice loves helping the people they serve. Aegis is a home health and hospice organization that lives by core values of character, experience, and trust. Every day, Aegis' goal is to help you with whatever your healthcare needs are and to do it wherever you need us to. Aegis, AEGIS, Aegis Home Health and Hospice. Call 723-9000 or find them at myaegis.com.
Clean it up and get it out before the snow flies. Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Hey, Aggie fans! Looking for the best burger in town? Bring the family to Prodigy Brewing and try out our signature Prodigy Supreme Burger or a wood-fired pizza. Need a smaller plate for the kids? Our kids menu has you covered. Whether you are out with the family or just want to catch the Aggies game with friends, Prodigy Brewing is the place to be in Cache Valley, located at 25 West Center Street in beautiful downtown Logan.
The Aggies are always number one here. It's KVNU Game Day with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, Eric Frenson, and Ryan Bowen.
And tonight we are pleased to have Zach Van Leeuwen with us, the former Aggie football player, to fill in for Ryan as our football analyst. So, again, Utah State 34-27 was the final score. And again, as soon as we get something from the stadium, as far as any players and coaches, we will pass that along. So in the end, looks like that the Academy ended up with about 359 yards, and the Aggies ended up with about 400 and some odd yardage in this game. 199 rush and 215 pass is what I see. That's a balanced, good football game. And Cooper Legas made some huge plays. That last touchdown run was some. I mean, there are not many guys on the team that'll do that. Hey, and the shovel pass to Vaughns, we've used that on fourth down this year. Twice it's worked, and one time it blew up on us, but it worked, and Vaughn was able to get away. Terrell Vaughn able to get away and make that play.
Yeah, it's phenomenal balance. The Aggies looked the most complete they have on offense all year. I think it helps having Cooper Legas on the legs that he has. It opens up the pass game that much more when you know that the quarterback can pull it on those zone reads and he can take it himself. It looked like they had, we saw it last week too, where they had a lot of designated QB runs. But then what also they're clicking in the pass game too. And
he had to have a better passing game than he did last week against BYU, his first time out, and I think that's where he improved a lot from one week to the next.
Yeah, and when you can run and throw the ball, it just keeps the defense on their heels, and so the Aggies looked great tonight offensively, and I think props to Cooper Legas and always being prepped and ready to go. So,
Al, a couple texts that have coming through.
Let's talk about that
on our text line 9315 saying, "Can we say two-time Utah wrestler and help from the rest of the team makes a big no worries win? Go Aggies!"
He is two-time wrestling champ, two-time javelin throwing champ, two-time football champion.
Yeah, he's
down at Orem High School.
Competitor.
Cooper's a winner, that's for sure, and that's what you get when he's on the field.
5879 texting in, "We are so used to Air Force doing whatever they want on offense. It was nice to see the Aggies be really disciplined and also have the run game be totally dominant. Solid win, just shows the upward trajectory the team has been on since Weber State."
So there's no doubt that this team did do some soul searching after the Weber State game. The second half of Weber State was not good at all. We're 14-13 down at the half, and we didn't compete in the second half a lot in that game. And we had those two games in a row with Alabama and Weber State. We didn't do hardly anything offensively, really. So we had some soul searching to be done. Coach let the players kind of try to do that. I don't know if you've talked to your brother, Kyle. I know he's through this period of time, he hasn't been able to play for the team, but he's still probably around some of these guys. And the team had to do some things themselves because the coaches have kind of set this up, and the way it worked last year, and it wasn't working at this point yet this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I think it sounds like more leaders have stepped up as well, and I think that's what they were lacking in the beginning of the year. it's difficult when you have a season like you did last year, and then a lot of key players graduated. Some playing in the league right now, and so it's always a question who's going to step up. And I think they didn't have any of that in those first couple games of leadership to continue to, the coaches can only do so much, but then it then goes down to the players. What can we do to lead? What can we do to pick ourselves back up and soul search yourselves? Because you can either keep riding that train down a negative road, or you can get things to flip. And I think they've done that. And I think tonight is the key win for the season.
It's a really big win. It really is. It keeps the season going, because if not, you've got 2 games away from home and a bye, and it would be kind of like everybody. I mean, even if you win those games at Colorado State or whatever, you've got the 2 conference losses, and you're not really home for a while. You could lose a lot of interest.
And your
margin
and things like that. For opportunity to get to a bowl game is like almost out the window.
Then you really have to win the rest of the games almost the rest of the way.
Yeah, which won't be easy to do.
Mm-hmm. If you go to draw 1 and 5.
All right, a couple more texts coming through. 6543. Ags were good tonight, but overall this is a very average Falcons team compared to the past few years. This conference won't have any ranked teams this year, but it'll be an exciting finish to the end.
This conference, since we joined it, has always had a team getting votes in the Associated Press poll, at least votes, if not ranked in the top 25. We don't have anybody getting votes in the top 25 of AP. Coaches poll, Air Force was 30. Now this loss will drop them out. San Jose might have a chance this next week. Boise beats Fresno. There might be some but Fresno, let's face it, to be honest, Zach, this is probably the weakest I've ever seen the Mountain West Conference in all the years we've been in, and you were there kind of at the start.
Yeah, I think, I was actually looking at the standings today, and I was just kind of like, wow, that's compared to years past. You usually see teams like at this point in the season, especially your Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno's are usually like 4-1, 3-1, and there's a lot of like 2 and 3s, and I think a lot of teams played some tough non-conference schedules. I wouldn't say that Air Force is just an average team. I still think they're going to probably finish the year with only 2 or 3 losses, but. Definitely more of a down year compared to what we've seen in years past.
I think overall you could have made a case. Now again, that Air Force might be the most complete team, or maybe the better team of any of the conference as far as what they can do offensively and defensively. But I think they were the number 1 pass efficiency defense in the country, and Cooper goes 18 for 23, and we're efficient. They only got 1 turnover. We showed that they probably haven't played a lot of passing teams like us up until now, and they maybe can be exploited a little bit. But my point on my pregame today was, we don't have a lot of great passing going on in this league like we used to. This used to be the pass-happy conference in college football.
Well, Wyoming's probably the toughest team that Air Force had faced all year.
And Peasley's they're not a great passing team.
Yeah. So I get the point of the text, but Air Force has done what they've needed to do. I mean, I guess that's not necessarily a slight against Navy. Navy's a good team too, but Air Force has done what they need to do, right? And they've put up more than 40 points 3 different times.
And they've rushed for 600 yards in a game and 480 for a game or something. They've had some big rushing games. So the Aggies to hold them, again, under 300 is pretty good huge compared to where we've been before going against that defense.
Solid work. Another text coming in, 6057. Seemed like despite the refs' best efforts, Utah State was still able to win. Loved seeing the improved offense made plays when they had to.
Well, it did look like they were looking for some penalties. But to be honest, that's the most penalties Air Force has had in a game. They were the number 1 least penalized team in America into this game. And penalties hurt them in this game. It did.
Yeah, penalties on the night. Let's see, Utah State. Oh, gosh, now where did it go? I had it. Now I don't know.
Let's see if I can find it
on
here.
Me. 7 for 58 for Air Force, 8 for 65 yards against the Aggies.
The Aggies have been averaging about 9 or more, one of the worst in the country at penalizing. Like I said, Air Force was so. In the end, it's pretty close numbers between those areas.
Yeah, early on the throat slash,
got the Aggies right away when they scored.
15-yarder that was bad, but by and large, like the unsportsmanlike stuff is better. We're not seeing as many of those, and I think that There are still some penalties happening, but they're not as egregious as what we saw earlier.
Well, they're competition
like the
penalties.
UNLV
They're not making stupid mistake penalties or losing your mind for a minute penalties and all. Yeah.
4446 texting in, Lagat is a baller. Dude doesn't look fazed by anything. Ice in his veins, stone cold killer. Yeah, he looks cool under pressure. 5464. So who has more missed calls that the Ags play, BYU or Air Force? Maybe it's the team colors. Maybe that's an issue. 2070. So much more imagination from the play calling. It's almost like we have that play caller from last year back, except that last 3 and out. I think not last. They were just running clock.
They did, yeah. They
forcing
did,
them to use their timeouts.
And they were only at the 12 or 15. They didn't want to do anything stupid to lose the ball there. Before they gave.
But the play calling was fun. I thought that it was imaginative. They were pressing different parts of the field. I thought they were much more effective. And you made the comment too, Zach, about how they were pressing the ball down the field a lot more tonight.
Yeah, a lot more vertical throws and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, having a quarterback that's mobile opens up the offense so much more. And I thought tonight was the most that they did take shots down the field, and we were winning those one-on-one matchups too. I think Cobb's had 2 or 3 of those, and there were a couple more opportunities, but it was nice to see them stretch the ball down the field like what they did last year. I think that was a huge part of the offense last year. So I think that's hopeful for what can continue moving forward. But yeah, the offense was a lot more creative tonight, and I think you have a running quarterback, you can make it a lot more entertaining, and the fans
and then it
loved
makes Calvin Tyler look better to have more of a running game where sometimes 2 blockers go ahead of him into a hole and then he runs behind him, or they pull some people and run a little more of the power type thing rather than always just zone reads. Although that zone read that Lagat then pulls and runs on was really something too.
It was very impressive. The fans loved it too. They were super engaged the whole game, energetic, and I think that helps. That helps to win games too.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We need to take another break. Our time's running on us. We'll get some interviews and all the things. Plus, we'd love to have you join with us with more texts. 339-0321, but of course phone calls as well, 753-KVNU. Brought to you in part by SC Needham Jewelers. Over 125 years, shopping at Needham's has become a tradition for families. We're getting towards the holiday season. Think about SC Needham Jewelers. And Prodigy Brewing is now downtown on Center Street. It's a great spot after the Aggie game. A lot of people down there for their great food. It's a family spot. They have, of course, all kinds of special brews that are there. Cache Valley's first and only brew pub on Center Street. Prodigy Brewing, one of our game day sponsors. Aggies 34, Air Force 27. Aggies win in homecoming, stop their 4-game losing streak, and we'll be back with more game day. We're on The Fan, the sports talk radio The Fan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, and it's KVNU Game Day on KVNU at 610 AM, 102.1, 102.5 FM, and the KVNU app as well.
Thermo Fisher Scientific is hiring for their manufacturing, distribution, and warehouse team. And that's great news for anyone seeking a rewarding career. Thermo Fisher offers positions across multiple shifts, competitive compensation, health benefits, paid time off, bonuses, and an excellent work environment. Help Thermo Fisher make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Visit job.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher Scientific is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
Advanced Heating and AC, the 2-time gold medal winner in Best in Northern Utah. They're teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you the best furnace units available, and now's the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, 752-7272, or stop by their showroom west of DI and online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by Elements Restaurant on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
All right, Al Lewis, Eric Frandsen, and Zach Van Leeuwen tonight on our game day post-game after Utah State's win over Air Force Academy. 34-27 is the final score. Looks like we're just getting stuff in from the stadium for the players and coaches. Eric, you got anything in the text line that you and Zach can talk about in a minute? And I'll try to get this ready to go.
Yeah, sure thing. 1107 texting in. Happy that we won. Lagal looking like a young Chucky Keaton, but extremely disappointed with horrible calls from the refs on both teams. I feel the refs should be held accountable for bad calls. I don't know that I saw a lot of bad calls tonight. Maybe some questionable, but I don't know that I saw a lot of bad calls tonight.
Yeah, I don't think it was awful. Obviously, there's some missed calls, but that comes with, I feel like, being a ref and being human. I thought last week was a lot worse at the BYU game, but, I think there were calls on both sides, but it's going to happen in every
There were some
game.
missed holding calls. I mean, that happens almost every game, but I thought that the crew tonight was pretty decent, better than last week. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, because what did you read? There were 8 penalties and then 7 or 9 penalties each way, so it was pretty even.
Not too bad. 9315, excuse me, texting in, says, look like Cobbs is starting to back up the hype about him and that I heard from the janitor. Yeah. No, but there was a lot of excitement about Brian Cobbs coming into the season. And like we saw flashes of what he could do in the spring. We saw some flashes in the fall scrimmages. But we haven't seen a consistent, dynamic target that Cobbs can be. We've seen some moments, but tonight he was consistent from start to finish. He was physical. He was aggressive. He made great plays, great highlight-worthy plays all night long for USU.
Yeah, I agree. I think also just, personnel changes, being able to open up your playbook more allows for those plays to be made as well. But Cobbs definitely, he showed the kind of receiver that he can be, and that he is.
5338 with the question, do you think the Aggies win tonight if Logan Bonner's the quarterback? Look, the way that he was playing this season, no, I don't think the Aggies win, because Cooper was able to extend plays with his feet. He was able to rush for yards, positive yards. Logan's a quarterback who'll press the ball down the field and make throws. But against the Air Force style of defense, I think that you needed a quarterback who can be a threat to run the ball, and that's what Cooper does.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think, Logan wasn't fully healthy. He wasn't the same quarterback that he was last year. Last year, I think if we had the way he was playing last year, I think, yes, it's a win. But just with him not being 100% and Cooper's ability to run the ball, it opened up things a lot more. So I agree with you there.
Remember last year, it was in the Air Force game when Bonner got hurt and Peasley had to come in, and Peasley threw for about 150 yards and made some big plays and some runs besides, and then Tyler made the big run at the end of the game, but it was Peasley who kind of helped get it done in the game against Air Force last year too at that point.
True. It was a shootout, and then it was in the second half, right, when Peasley came in for an injured Bonner.
Yeah. There's some problem with the audio. I'm going to play, what I'm going to do is play the start of what the coach says, and there's some background rumble and everything, because I want you to try to hear through the junk what he says at the start. Then I'm going to have to move forward on some of the other things, and we'll miss a lot of what the coach said because it will not be a pleasure to listen to. But I want you to hear what he starts off with through this rumble that's there, and we apologize, but this is the way it came down to us. Here we go.
Fans, great crowd, great energy. We felt it. The team for the win person in that group. I don't know what team that is, but that's a month worth of grinding it out, close but not there. And we finally got it on the plate. One game wasn't perfect, still had a couple of mistakes that could have been really, really costly. But to get a win against that team and the environment that was in, that's a huge step in the right direction.
So I wanted to play you what he said at the start. Now we can get over here and a little bit later. Don't think there's quite as much interference. There's still some of the exchange that he has with the media, and let's go to that.
It's a point where you're like, we're fragile, man. This thing could go south real quick if we don't see some fruit from the labor and the sacrifice. this week particularly was one of the best weeks of practice we've had, and you wanted desperately for it to show on the field, and you want it to not just show but also get the win. I mean, that ultimately you can only take getting close so often, and I felt like that's what last week was. And this could be huge. This could be the catalyst for a ton of positive moving forward, because it did validate all the things that we've been telling them, all the work, all the sacrifice, all the unselfish behavior, the extra time, the taking your role even though it's not exactly what you want your role to be. This validates that this is how we get it done. This is the team we've got. This is what it's going to take. And so I'd like to think that this is going to give them the energy they need to just continue and fuel that and even dial it up another notch. And if they do, then we'll just continue to get better.
I want to ask about how the receivers have sort of responded to the challenges that I'm sure you guys have put up to them. At the beginning of the season, you said that they were struggling with winning one-on-one matchups. That did not seem to be an issue here tonight, specifically Brian Cobb. What kind of improvement have you seen?
Well, I think you started to see it look a little bit better each week. I thought last week we made some very good contested catches. At second half of UNLV, we made some very competitive catches. And tonight, when you consider some of the ones that guys had to make, none of them easy, they're starting to gain confidence. And it's kind of the same conversation we just had. They're working extremely hard. Now they're starting to see that show up, having the confidence to elevate to a ball, having the confidence to make a play with a guy hanging on you, having the confidence to win one-on-one on 4th and 2 when the game's on the line. I mean, those come from repetition, and learning that I can do this when it matters most. So I'm hoping again that this is something that just builds that confidence level, and we keep getting better.
With Brian specifically, eight receptions, 136 yards and a touchdown. You mentioned on Monday the receivers only meeting. How have you seen him specifically step in?
That dude's he's been a leader since day one that he got here, and he's more and more vocal, but mainly he leads by example. He does everything right. He's the first in, the last out, never on a list, always encouraging the guys around him, willing to help on special teams, willing to, if he's got to be the decoy, he's when you look at selfless, I mean, he's the epitome of what we're looking for. It's why we brought him here, and it's showing he's affecting the guys around him in a positive way every day.
Coach Anderson, I mean, been so close the previous 2 weeks, but one bugaboo was just those short yardage situations. You get the shovel pass on 4th and 4. I mean, how much can a play like that, being successful, kind of jumpstart a season?
Well, that and again, I think the 4th and 2, the one-on-one competitive play with Kyle, those are huge. We've got to be able to, in this game particularly, because they're going to run the clock, and you're only going to get it. I mean, we got really 2 solid drives in the first half. 2. You cannot squander opportunities. And so I think every positive play builds confidence and allows guys to potentially go out and feel like I can do that next week when it matters most. Games are only going to get tougher as we go forward. As the conference race, you look more and more tape, more and more tendencies, more on the line. I'm hoping these are some big-time snaps for guys, big-time plays for guys that will pay dividends on down the road for us.
Coach, building on that, you had 3 plays over 30 yards, 2 turnovers, some explosive plays, and it seemed like for the first time this season, stringing them together. What does that do to build momentum?
Yeah, consistency's been a problem for us. We've had spurts, but not continuous. And tonight, there never was a big drop-off. There were some plays that they made and some plays that we made. This was a big-time college football game, and we stayed in the fight for 4 straight quarters, 60 straight minutes. We've struggled to do that at any point this season. There just always seems to be a drop-off, a let-up, a mistake, and we avoided that and played really well. That's why we're sitting here talking about a win instead of another close loss. So I do see us getting better every week. I'm hoping that we can just continue to build on this and keep putting wins on top of wins. That'd be a great place to be.
Coach, what does Logan Bonner mean for your team right now and their kind of resolve to turn this season around with?
Okay, the noise is going to come back there, and I have to stop it at this point. But I think there were some good points in there made. Zach, it's a catalyst to get better. This football team needed positive on the field besides their feeling of, hey, we have played a little better the last couple of games? You have to get a win to really validate that feeling and get you moving forward the right way.
Yeah, I think it's a true comment what he said about being a catalyst, or this game could really serve as like a hinge point for the Aggies and being able to turn their season around, where a lot of people think, are they going to go to a bowl game this year? I think this is the hinge point that gets momentum really going in the Aggies' favor, because it was a complete game. We haven't seen that at all this season, a complete game. The second quarter of UConn was a good quarter. First half of last week was a good half. But tonight we played a complete game, and I think it can be a hinge point, and like Coach Anderson said, a catalyst for the rest of the season and building confidence moving forward.
Yeah, and I liked how he was talking about building confidence for his team, and a lot of praise for Brian Cobbs as
and he deserved it.
Somebody who's put in a lot of work, and now we're starting to see the fruits of that labor. And that other guys are starting to see that, and it's starting to grow, and that confidence is spreading throughout the team. They're seeing the work that they're putting in, and thankfully they have a positive result to now build on that, because they've got a stretch here where they've got several games where they should be the favored team now, and can start to build on that and build a lot more success and get some wins in their division, which really matters a lot.
Yep, Colorado State, Wyoming are coming up next on the road. All right, we need to take a break, and then I think we got some player stuff, and hopefully we'll be able to hear that, and we'll check that out for you here on Aggie Game Day. 753 KVNU is our phone number. The text line is 435-339-0321, and we will return. We're on the Fan and KVNU Game Day, brought to you in part by Thermo Fisher. They make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. That's Thermo Fisher Scientific, one of our game day sponsors.
News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Sports Talk Radio, KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center are now located in Providence, and Cache Valley's newest and most up-to-date medical clinic located at 2245 North 400 East in North Logan, just south of Cache Valley Hospital. The entire staff and Dr. Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette look forward to helping you and your family at this state-of-the-art medical facility. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is now located in Providence, and their new office at 2245 North 400 East in North Logan. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted.
Elements has delicious lunch specials, 2 for $30, or the new soup, salad, and bread special for just $10. It's tasty and quick. Elements' lunch menu is full of scrumptious items prepared with a personal touch. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecue chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite Munster Burger, casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9 p.m. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations today.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. Couples throughout the state buy their rings from S.E. Needham Jewelers because of our low prices, extensive ring selection, and extraordinary benefits and services with financing available. Go to seneedham.com to learn more. We have many unique and beautiful engagement rings starting at $500. You'll find affordable engagement rings with our integrity price guarantee. This is why we are where Utah gets engaged. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Talking about Aggie football like no one else can. KVNU Game Day is back.
Yeah, we give you a local radio station, which is a good signal that you can hear easily going away from the stadium after you've watched it on TV. We're here before and after every game for you on KVNU. And this year in football, we're also on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan. Al Lewis and Eric Franson after the game here. Craig Islip usually helps me set up the game beforehand. And then Zach Van Leeuwen joining with us tonight. And we appreciate Jason Walker up at the stadium getting these interviews. Again, the first one, though, kind of had a little bit of interference, but I think you heard the essence of what Coach Anderson had to say, the big parts of this game. But I think you'll enjoy listening to Johnny Carter, who's the Aggie defensive back, who, again, knocked the ball away, made an interception at the end of the game. And the Aggie defense, of course, really were a big story in the second half of this win, 34-27 over the Academy. Here is Johnny Carter.
How y'all doing today? Questions? How y'all doing out there? All right? Good to see y'all.
How do you feel right now?
I feel great, man. Good team win. Feel great.
Was there more emphasis on forcing turnovers today, just with the style of offense that they run? Was there more of an emphasis from Coach Bonda about forcing turnovers? Did you have in your mind to strip that ball, or was that just kind of instinct?
It's like that every week. Every week I try to be a playmaker. Us defensive backs try to be playmakers and take the ball away. That's our job. So, I mean, I came out there. We knew it was going to be a big deal to get turnovers on Air Force. So we needed every chance we get. So, I mean, it's a defensive thing, a defensive back thing. So I'm always looking forward to it.
Johnny, how much pride did you take on really making them work their way down the field this week, as opposed to all the explosive plays they got last year?
It was good for us as a defense to make them to earn everything that they got. We had a few miscommunications in the back end that gave them stuff that it was nothing that they did. It was stuff that we did, self-inflicted. But I mean, it was good to make them go down there and make them try to earn every yard they got and stand up as a defense. So that's pretty cool.
So you guys struggled to stop them kind of early in the game, which kind of marked the field. In the last few drives they had, you guys pretty much stopped them for the most part. Like, was there an adjustment you guys made for those last few drives to come up big on those defensive possessions?
No, it was just it was an adjustment. We had to slow down and do our job. Everybody had to do a specific job. Just do your one job and everything will be all right. Tackle the dive if you got the dive, and cover on the back end. And we did that, and it's pretty good. Guys slowed down and did their job and tackled like we supposed to. So, I mean, it's pretty good.
After you got that interception, Coach Bonda, it might have been after the fumble, Coach Bonda picked you up and patted you on the back, and just what was that feeling like? What was going through your head?
It's a great feeling when you be able to get the ball and turn it over for the offense so they can go score and get points on the board. It's going to be a good feeling, no matter if it's a jumping on a fumble recovery or punching the ball out. Anytime you get the ball and turn it over and give a chance for our offense to go score, it's always going to be a good feeling. So it was great. See a lot of guys smiling. Offense was happy, got some energy going. So it's great.
How do you feel like? I mean, with the triple option and everything, do you feel like your physicality or what was it that you think that kind of slowed that down?
What slowed down the triple option?
Yeah.
The defensive guys doing their job and being aggressive and being physical. Violence is the answer on the defensive side of the ball. And we live by that, we die by that. So, I mean, that's what it was. It's being violent, showing what it is.
Do you feel like this team is getting better week by week?
Yes, we're definitely getting better. Like I said, guys is believing in the process and not giving up. When you go 1-4 or 1-4, 1-5, you can have a team that can fall apart. Guys stop believing and guys don't want to be here no more. But instead of that, a lot of guys kept going, kept trucking, kept believing in the process and believing in our coaches. And you got a lot of guys that just want to win, and you see it. Getting better every week, though.
That's Johnny Carter's part after the game, talking to the media. You can just tell, and Eric, you and I have had a chance to talk to him, and Zach, I don't know if you've been around. This guy wears it on the sleeve. I mean, he has fun in whatever he does. He's a great fisherman. He's come here and loves to go fishing, loves to get out in the out of doors and do things you see on Twitter and all that. But
rodeo guy, right?
Yeah, rodeo too. Yeah,
wow.
Always
Nice,
has been
cool.
involved in that. Yeah, from back down in Texas and all that he's been around. And but there's certain guys that just make plays when they're around and things like that. And and he's one of those kind of guys.
Yeah, you always need guys like that on your team that have a knack for making plays. That turnover that he created, punching the ball out, I think that's a huge turnover in the game because Air Force had just gotten that first down from the pass interference, and then what would have been an explosive run for him now turns into a turnover. Aggies get the ball back, and there goes the momentum all in our favor.
You're talking about, they first down play from the 25, 1 yard. Second down was 0, and it looked like then they get the pass interference call when our guy, basically he gave him 20 yards, and then he just comes back and happens to get on his back because it takes so long for the ball to get there, and they call it in front of their bench. And then they give it to this Johnson guy, and a little bit of a counter from a kind of a wing-back run inside. He went 22 yards on that play. They are down at the Utah State 40-some-odd yard line all of a sudden, and it's 27-24 with still about 9 minutes to play in the game. And all of a sudden, we score 3 plays after that. We're up 2 touchdowns, up 2 scores, and if you feel like the game's more. That was a huge play. That's the game decider.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, it's fun to see Johnny Carter starting to develop into this new role for him and expand his influence on the defense. Earlier in the season, he was kind of picked on maybe a little bit. The opposing coaches knew he was relatively young to that new position, but he's grown into that, and I think he's making bigger and better plays and helping that defense. And he came up huge in the second half.
You were a receiver going against corners. He's an inside guy, and he kind of had to turn to an outside. That's not an easy transition too.
Yeah, that's not easy. It definitely helps when a receiver is switched to corner, because then you know the ins and outs of what a receiver's running. And he was a receiver too in his day. Yeah, he was a receiver once in his day as well. But it is hard switching from, especially if you're more of a nickel type guy and then moving to corner. You can be out there on an island, but then especially when Air Force does get out with their pitch game, it's just you and the ball carrier a lot of times too. But
they didn't run as many plays to the outside against us, and I don't know if they thought they couldn't get those plays. A few of them did work to get them a first down a little bit, but there was not as many of those pitch plays or the counters with the wingback coming around as much as I've seen some years.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely in the first half, I think they were riding their fullback because
they did every single
it
drive.
Worked.
One drive.
But even in the second half, when we started to slow it down, I just think we got them out of their element a little bit when we took the lead, and then once you force them, you're down 2 scores, it really gets them out of their element, especially in the fourth quarter like that. That's the position you want to be in against Air Force.
Well, they needed a review of their first possession of the game to keep their first series going, and the guy basically almost stepped out of bounds on that play, but then they went off the field with a punt. But look at the rest of the times they had the ball. They get 3 yards on first down and 2 yards on first down, and then they get 6 yards on first down. And then I'm just going through my charts here. They go to finish the game, -4, 1, 2, and then they did get the catch on the last one. But when you're holding them on first down to only 2 yards or less than 3, maybe 4, if they get 4, they're on their target.
That's the key against Air Force. If you can hold them on first down to keeping them from not picking up 5 to 6 yards and force them to be in third and long situations, again, that gets them out of their style of play too.
Their playbook is all of a sudden different than they want to play at that particular point. Yep.
Yeah, they're not comfortable in those positions. For
Anything
sure.
else in the text line? And then we'll take a break, and then we've got, I think, quarterback Cooper Legas.
Yeah, a couple more texts coming through. 9315 texting in. If I understand correctly, is not the offense set up for a running quarterback? Yeah, I think the Utah State offense
is the offense always a running quarterback because of the zone read stuff. That would seem to be there in some ways.
Any type of up tempo, fast paced type of offense, RPO offense is built around a running quarterback, because then it just opens up so much more to your game, whether it's passing or. Now it's just not keying in on one guy who's going to run the ball. Now you have to cover 2, and then offenses like this are definitely built in to have a running quarterback.
So the defense has to at least respect the threat, and that's something that Logan Bonner was struggling with. That just it wasn't there, and defenses knew it, so they could drop guys back. But Cooper's flipping that now. 6057 texting in. I don't know if you already covered it already, but what are your thoughts on the targeting call? Seemed like an obvious penalty.
It looked like that to this person. They thought that was a targeting in the game.
Yeah, we have not covered it yet.
The one on Nine Davis.
Well, there was, and then we had. Didn't they look at one for us too that they didn't call targeting?
Right. They initially called it, and then they overturned it.
Yes. Or something.
And I thought it was the correct call.
When you watch the one on, it's the one on Nana on the ground where he made that play, and that when you looked at it, I don't think that was targeting either.
The thing that it seems to vary week to week, crew to crew, but as we were watching it in slow motion, and the thing is that the defender comes in to look like he's trying to make a solid tackle. He's coming down on a lower
shoulder, and he's
part of the body. He's not going for the head.
Mm-hmm.
But the receiver, in this case it was Nana Davis, he's protecting the ball, and he's trying to prepare for impact, and he comes down into that space. And it wasn't crown to crown. It was kind of side to side, but it's still helmet-to-helmet contact. But it didn't, to me, look like it was a clear targeting call. Now, should there be some kind of sliding scale if there's some helmet-to-helmet contact? I don't know. But I thought it was the right review to overturn it and not call it a targeting penalty.
I think if a guy launches himself at a guy and the head's the first that hits him, neck area up to head, those kind of things need to be there. But when a guy is running the ball, immediately goes to the sideline, he goes down with and sometimes the defensive guy, you can't help but hit his helmet when you're going to make a tackle.
And I think referees are being taught more now just to throw the flag. We'll review it if it is a penalty or not.
That's true.
But, there's so many dynamics like that where a guy's going down, the defender's coming in, trying to lead with his shoulder. But I feel like any time when a defender's coming with eyes down, leading with the head, I think that should be, that should warrant a targeting call. One, because it's unsafe for the guy making the tackle coming in with his head down. They don't teach that.
You can't. Yeah, and they're now everybody's trying. Everybody's trying to teach you lead with shoulder, or you kind of turn your head to the side. And you can miss tackles that way when guys are pretty elusive, too, if you don't keep up. Boise just scored on a big run, so now they've taken the lead back. Fresno had scored to make it 14-13, but now Boise State's just scored, and so they now lead 20-14 in the game. I think that's what it is now.
Yep.
So they're playing up at Boise. It is on FS1, the same channel that had the Aggie game on. Let me take another break, and then we'll come back with more of your texts, more of your phone calls, and we got Cooper Legas as well from the stadium. Again, Aggies win at 34-27 to get going in this conference with their first conference win, and we'll return with more of Game Day on KVNU and the Fan. We're brought to you tonight in part by the one-on-one help, monthly classes, all the insurance needs taken care of for you at one spot, LSS Insurance, 169 East, 1600 North. You always expect great customer service when you select one of their plans. 752-9493 to set up your appointment with them. And D&D Auto and Salvage. They're going to pay you the most for your junk vehicles. If you want to get rid of a junk vehicle, call 787-1204. Pickup is available, and you can do that on Monday. D&D Auto and Salvage, 787-1204, part of our Game Day sponsorship on The Fan and KVNU.
What's more important than sleep? Granted, some things are, but not many. This is Ryan at My Mattress, and here we offer the best solution to better sleep, a better mattress. IntelliBed, the gel mattress, cradles your hips and shoulders while providing the best back support possible. Or come in and choose a Tempur-Pedic that boasts 93% of their owners love their bed. My Mattress, offering the best sleep possible by the South Walmart.
It's game time, and you're in the locker room ready to take the field. But suddenly, you notice a player you don't recognize. He's wearing your team's jersey, and he even knows your name. But you've never seen him before now. Would you trust this stranger with your team's playbook? That's exactly how phishing scams work. And the first quarter of 2022 saw the highest volume of phishing attacks ever recorded. Protect your business with the Les Olson Security Suite from Les Olson IT. Learn more at lesolson.com.
Cold weather is here. Let the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah's fireplace category help you update your home with Napoleon's full line of gas or wood-burning products. Building a new home? Let the professionals at Advanced Fireplace and Stove design and install your fireplace. From traditional to modern, Napoleon has something for every design and every budget. Install a product that will allow your family to make memories for years to come. Stop by at their showroom or visit them at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
Aggie Game Day continues. Sponsored by Golden Spike Electric on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
All righty, 34-27. Aggies won. Let's see. I think I closed my spot. Did we ever see New Mexico, Wyoming? Who won? Did you ever see who won that game?
That was Wyoming who won.
New Mexico was ahead a lot of the game, though.
Let me get the final score for you here. Let's see here. It was Wyoming eventually came back and pulled ahead in the
fourth quarter.
There. So Wyoming won that 27-14.
27-14 after New Mexico did have the lead of the game. Last night, San Jose 40, UNLV 7. So San Jose is 2-0. Boise, if they win tonight, would be 3-0 in conference play. And the Aggies are now at 1-1. Wyoming would be 2-1. then with that win in conference play in our division. Colorado State would be 1-0 because they beat Nevada, stopped their 10-game losing streak, which I believe is the longest in the country. They won last night 17-14. At the end of the game, they kicked a field goal and missed it. And Nevada ran into the kicker, and so they got another chance, and they kicked the field goal. It was their only offensive points of the game, and they won 17-14 over Nevada. Nevada is 0-2 in the other division. San Diego State and Hawaii are also underway at this hour in conference play. And again, if you missed it, UCLA did beat Utah, and BYU lost to Notre Dame in the other games involving our state. In this one, let's go to Cooper Legas, and then you guys can talk about what he has to say. Cooper, of course, was huge in this game tonight, and what he has been for this team obviously is something, and so he was asked questions, and let's join that interchange. This is brought to you in part by Daryl's Appliance Service and Sales in beautiful downtown Benson. Fridges and freezers and washers and dryers, ranges and dishwashers, all the great brand names from Daryl's Appliance.
Cooper, you put the ball in some good spots, but you guys are making contested catches, particularly Cobbs tonight was phenomenal. How much confidence do you gain when you see your guys battle for you like that?
I think it helps me a lot, just be more comfortable, especially just being early in my career, having depended on my legs a lot in high school, all growing up. It makes me more confident just getting the ball out to them and not freaking out so much, scrambling all the time. I know those guys will make plays, so it's really good when they make those big-time catches like that. Just builds more confidence knowing I can keep targeting them, keep getting the ball out of my hands. So, love it.
So, Cooper, you had a couple drives in the first half, just kind of stalled, kind of deep in the red zone. Obviously, in the second half, you guys finished some of those drives, and they were big drives. What was the difference between some of those that stalled and the ones you finished off?
If I remember correctly, a lot of them we had penalties, so it's tough when you get second, third down and more than 10 yards. That's really tough to come back from. So it really limits the plays you can call and really limits just what we can do with the ball. So I think just at the end of the game we started to eliminate those dumb penalties more, and so it's more second and third and manageable. There's more stuff we can call and stuff that's more built for that area of the field.
What's your chemistry like with Brian Cobbs? Do you think chemistry between the quarterback and the wide receiver matters, or is it more just he's getting it?
It for sure matters, but honestly I don't think it's as much as people make it sound like. We have our concepts. I know they're going to get to their spots, and so really I just have to trust that they're going to be in that spot and get the ball there and know that they're going to come down with it. And a lot of times tonight they were coming down with it, so it paid off.
What's your level of confidence in yourself and this team now that you've got a couple starts under your belt?
Personally, I've always had belief in my own abilities, and I feel like I just try to work as hard as I can every day, and I think the team sees that. And so I feel like they've been they assumed I would do good in a game, and so it's fun to finally be out here, especially at home, go get a big win against a team like Air Force. And I think that just helps the team all come together and have belief in what the offense is doing, what the defense is doing, and all in special teams we can all come together. So it's not just confidence in me, it's the offense as a whole, the defense as a whole, special teams as a whole. We all know we can work together and play big games like this and win them.
How important is getting a win tonight and solidifying that confidence?
It's huge. We lose tonight, then it's what are we playing for? There's no real motivation to go get the championship, because it feels like if we lose this one, we're kind of out of the running. So I think this one was huge. A good team like Air Force, we're still in contention to go to the championship. So I feel like this really is just getting the ball rolling, beating a team like this, and now we can go on a run. So.
Just how much did you guys kind of feed off of each other there? You take the lead, the defense makes a play. You extend your lead, and the defense makes another play. And so how much did you guys just really kind of feed off of each other?
You play a team like Air Force, you know the drives you're going to get are limited. So just trying to at least get some sort of points every drive as the offense. And then knowing that by the time you're back on the field, a lot of time is going to be off the clock. So just being ready to make the most of every drive. And then when it really mattered, the defense was coming up with some big stops. So that helped us out a ton.
Cooper, you seem to get some momentum, and I guess last week was technically your first start versus your hometown team. And so what from that do you think carried over as far as the end result? do you feel like you improved this week, or what do you think led to the end result, win tonight?
So what did I take from BYU that helped me this week is what you're saying?
Yeah, you think there's some momentum, or you think there's just some things improved?
I mean, I think we had some good stuff from BYU. It's hard to take momentum from a loss, but I think we saw glimpses of good things, so I think we built off of that, came into this week. I was able to just see things more clearly, I feel like, just having it be my second full game, so I think I was able to just go through what I needed to a little bit better than I did last week. And then we just never let the game get out of control. Where last week we got down by 2 scores. We were never down by more than 1 tonight. So I think just keeping the game in control allows us to just play our offense how we need to play and not try to do too much crazy stuff.
I think that's good stuff from Cooper Lega. And Craig and I, before the game, we said he had to step it up a little bit with his passing from what we saw against BYU. He did that. I'm just going to put it to you guys to discuss for a second here. How do you think Cooper Lega felt before he got a chance to play against BYU on this season? He could have easily, now remember, he said, I was Logan Bonner's #1 fan and helping him, and he was helping me and all this kind of stuff. But, hey, there was a point there that he and a lot of people looked at things and said, well, there should be some kind of change, maybe at quarterback with what was going on. He hung in there, and now we're at this particular point and seeing what he's doing.
Well, like what he said, that he said, look, my teammates assumed that I might be competitive and might help the team, but nobody knew. Like, we weren't sure.
Well,
and even in his first start, it didn't result in a win.
No.
So,
but what did he do in the bowl game when he played? He comes out in the first pass. He has to deliver. He delivers that pass that probably was the dagger that ended up putting the game away against Oregon State.
Yeah. So he's shown an ability, but once you're in the game and for a full game as the starter, there's still a little bit of an uncertainty there, but. It's clear that they're showing confidence in him, and that confidence is building around the team. Not just, and I love that he kind of deflected that question. It's not about confidence in him. There's confidence growing in the offense. There's confidence in our special teams. There's confidence in our defense and how we're all growing right now.
Yeah, I think everyone's growing as a team right now. I think something that's key with Cooper is his belief in himself, and also the poise that he has when he's been out there. You've seen that, even last week, tonight, there were maybe some turnovers or some negative plays. He still had the same energy and bounced up. And I've gotten to know Cooper Lega pretty well, him being roommates with my brother. But even watching him last year, just through like fall ball, the way that he prepares himself mentally, even when he wasn't getting reps in scrimmages and whatnot, he's back behind them taking the mental reps so that when his call came, like it did in the bowl game last year, he looked calm, cool, and collected, and he executed. I think we saw that the times that he came in. He looked that way last week against BYU. Even though he had that turnover early on, he still bounced back. He looked calm, cool, collected. Obviously, tonight he looked a little bit more comfortable with his second start. He said he saw things a little bit more clearly, and we saw that. We saw him playing with confidence. The receivers were playing with confidence. I think this whole team is finding that confidence in that we can win games. We have that ability.
I could go back and play what he said again after the BYU game. He said, we're making progress as a team. The defense is playing better than we are on offense, and we need to start to help the defense out. I think that was fulfilled tonight. That kind of comment was fulfilled in this game to make it more of an overall team effort in this game, too.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. As I think he was trying to point out, and as and Coach Anderson has as well, is that this team has been making progress and has been growing week to week. He said this was the best week of practice they've had all year. Sometimes that's coach speak. Sometimes they'll just say that, but I believe that Anderson said that, and I believe that that's true. I think this team had kind of to stare each other and look in the mirror and have some long, hard, soul-searching moments a few weeks ago.
Well, and the team did have a meeting. They had players' meetings and things. Yeah,
the coaches can only do so much. The players have to call each other out and be more accountable, and they're starting to do that, and it's building. And this team it does not feel like a team that has a 2-4 record after tonight's win. They look like they're a much better, more accomplished team than their record indicates.
I think there's truth to that too.
Yeah, and I think it was a legitimate comment because I don't think our defense has been bad by any means this year. Like, there's been games where they've created turnovers. I just think our offense was
Alabama
bad.
didn't really run the ball against us except for Young. The quarterback scrambles.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't. Now, maybe they could have if they really would have tried, but the Young was able to throw the ball around and do some things, but it wasn't like we were gashed. I mean, big-time plays and things like that.
A couple texts coming through. You guys can react to this. This is from 6740. Everything that frustrated me about this year's play calling might have been put to rest, hopefully. It really looked like we took what we were getting from the D and we stopped running it up the middle like we didn't have a plan. It feels like we have a plan now. Also, Coach John L. Smith was at the game.
Oh.
He looked great and was still sharp and funny as ever. Very beloved by his players, remembered everyone, and was a riot to talk to tonight. And probably 20 players.
He's one of my all-time favorites.
From that
when I worked with him those 3 years. He was great.
A bowl game team that was there, including NFL players John Del Cardi and Craig Miller.
Okay. That was neat to know that. And I know the 79 team came back that was a champion. Craig was involved in that last night. We talked about it on the pregame. Those guys came back. And, Eric Hipple, Rulon Jones, and some of those other great names like that were involved in their deal that they had a big thing last night and got rings because they won a PCAA championship back in the day. Great
to have a win like this on homecoming. A lot of people come back into town for a lot of different events, and big win for a lot of Aggie alumni. 9315 texting in. If I understand correctly, is not the offense... Oh, we already asked that. When set up for a running quarterback. This is another one he's texted in. Do you think there was any time in the game that Williams should have been in? Mixed feelings on using him like in that 3rd and 1 situation today.
Okay, what's your feelings about Levi's bigger and can run? He's got a big arm, but he's a little more erratic and things. But what are your thoughts about a package for a quarterback like that in some spots?
I think we've seen that in the past games where they did bring him in. I'm sure they still have that installed in their offense, but with the success that Cooper had running the ball tonight, why change it?
We didn't have to, or whatever, to think about that.
Calvin Tyler was running the ball effectively. Cooper could get yards. I don't know that there was a situation that Levi was needed.
We've got to be good on 4th down because I told Eric, we are the number 1 team in the nation at trying 4th downs so far. We led the nation going into this game, and we have 2 key ones tonight that we converted on 4th downs that were hit. A touchdown on one, and then that other tough catch by Cobbs to keep a drive going.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got to be good on 4th downs. We do it a lot.
1027 texting in. Good win for the Aggies tonight. Good balance on both sides of the ball. What a difference a win makes. The crowd was really into it tonight. At times, the volume of the crowd was wonderful, wonderfully loud.
And you were there, and you mentioned that the atmosphere was great in the stadium, and you could just feel it on TV, too, watching it as we did down here.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. I hadn't seen that all season long, so that 4th quarter was a lot of fun before I came over here.
Putting one away finally rather than having to see somebody else running away from us.
Fans were staying in the stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Credit to the fan base. There have been reasons for them to turn away. From the losses to the coaches' comments and some of the reactions, there have been reasons for them not to come. But they've hung in there. They keep coming. Credit to the fans who have stuck with it. And they were treated to a fun football game tonight.
And I said they wouldn't leave, and they haven't left, and they never will leave. I said that even when it happened. I've seen enough of this place that when things weren't good, we still had 10, 12,000 people showing up to games, and a lot of other places it wouldn't happen like it's happened here. And so now they've hung with them. They've seen the progress. They've seen them work. They put in the extra stuff. Now we got something. Yeah. Now you got to remember, though, we got November when we come back at home.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
It'll be a little different.
For the next game.
Yeah, because they got 3 weekends now where they're away 2 and a bye before they get back home. All right, one final segment coming up for you on our game day post-game for texting or for calls, 753-5868, or the text line is 339-0321 as we have Zach Van Leeuwen with us here tonight for game day coverage on the Fan and KVNU. Brought to you in part by Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Amazing service and great quality. I had an excellent experience. That's what some of the customers have told us why Jarek's is make it special, make it Jarek's. And they bring you our post-game game day on KVNU and the Fan.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We are humbled by and grateful for the tremendous support we have been shown since opening our doors nearly 2 years ago. So we just want to say thank you. On behalf of everyone at White Pine, first and foremost, thank you for allowing us the honor and privilege of serving you and caring for your loved ones. Additionally, thank you for voting White Pine the best mortuary in Cache Valley in both 2021 and 2022.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Old McDarrell has a farm and appliance farm
with down-home country prices and big city selection.
E-I-E-I-O. When you're looking for a friendly spot to drive a little and save a lot, hey, Old McDarrell has a farm, an appliance farm. Low overhead, but lots of country charm. See Darrell's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
This is Jarek with Jarek's Fine Jewelry. This October is our 14th year anniversary. So to celebrate, we want to treat you to an anniversary date. Make it a date night on us. Come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. We have thousands of designs to choose from, including the newest custom designs. With no strings attached and no purchase necessary, we will buy your dinner at Bloom Eatery. The entire month of October, come in ring shopping and Bloom is on us. Make date night special. Make it Jarek's.
Are you a small business owner? Who's your bank? This is Bruce Rigby. I want to invite you to bank with us at Cache Valley Bank. We specialize in helping small business, and we have great people. That's the Cache Valley Bank difference. Decisions made locally, without all the red tape, by people who care and know how to help small business. Cache Valley Bank, growing, expanding, and proud to have our roots firmly planted in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Aggies win 34-27, the final score. Boise kicked a field goal at the end of the first half, so I think it's 20-17 at the half. I think it is, with Boise State leading Fresno State in their game that's going on. Utah lost 42-32. BYU lost 28-20 in those games, and we mentioned Wyoming did beat New Mexico, so that kind of gives you an update of where the conference is. I know San Diego State and Hawaii are also playing tonight, and I haven't.
No score yet.
No score in that game. That's a battle of two really bad offensive football teams.
Yes.
But again, this conference has got a bunch of them right now. So if we start to get 200 yards a game rushing and 200 yards a game passing, we can be as the offense of this league in a lot of ways. And if our defense will continue. Earlier in the year, the big thing, we were giving up remember, even Connecticut ran the ball pretty well against our defense. We were giving up about 6.5 yards a rush at one time, and now we've dropped that down to closer to about 4. And even Air Force tonight, the amount of times they carried the ball with what they ended up with, we did a pretty good job against the run tonight in this game too.
Yeah, considering what Air Force has been averaging on the season, I mean, I thought that Aggie defense was
Air Force ran for
really
4.8 yards a carry in the game. The Aggies rushed for 5.2 yards a carry in the game. And for total plays tonight, Aggies got about 6.8 yards a play. Air Force only got 5.3. At one time, we were going up early in the year almost 7 yards a play offensively to the opponents. So we've improved in those areas, too.
Yeah, the Utah State rushing defense has actually been pretty solid for most of the year. You mentioned there's been a few blips here and there, but that rushing defense has been pretty solid, and especially considering there's been some injuries to key guys on that interior defensive front. Mm-hmm. It's not easy.
Yep. So 264 yards holding Air Force to 264. Like after what we've had the last couple of years against them, that's really, really good tonight in this game. Okay, anything else we got there in the text?
Quick text just came through from 4177. Sorry if this has been asked, but what's the story with Robert Briggs? When he was in there, he seemed to run fine. It's just that he wasn't in there very much. Is he still dinged up, or is there something else going on?
Coach said that he was fine going into the game. Briggs is impressive how he runs the ball, but hey, I thought Calvin Tyler tonight looked about as good as we have seen him look from a full game perspective. And would you agree with that, Zach?
Yeah, I think this was probably his most complete game. And if you have a guy that's got the hot hand running the ball, keep feeding him.
He averaged 5.7, got his first touchdown of this year. We've only had, 3 rushing touchdowns all year. Cooper had one last week, and then Briggs had one earlier in the season. That was only our third. Then eventually Laga got one tonight. We've had most of our other scores at the end. Tonight's the first time we've had a third-quarter touchdown on the season. We've had a field goal against BYU, and that was it for third-quarter scoring. So our quarter scoring tonight, we scored 10, 3, 7, and 14. I think that's the first time for sure we've scored in every quarter of a game this year. Air Force, 7, 7, 3, and 10. So both teams did get some points in the entire football game tonight to make it entertaining to stay to the end and watch it, too.
Yeah, it was a fun football game to watch. So I think there's things to be excited for moving forward, especially with the next 3 games. They should pick up those wins.
Colorado State is not a really good offensive football team. Jay Norvell moved from Nevada to Colorado State, so that win last night when they kicked a field goal at the end and win had to be big for him because he was back at Reno, too, in that game last night. So that was big for him. But, I mean, I've always just felt like Colorado State has some guys, or they've always had weapons, and they've got 3 or 4 guys who are in the NFL as receivers. The tight end from last year, the Cowboys have got the one guy. There's another receiver in the NFL that played with them the last little while, and they've always been pretty good on defense too, and things at Colorado State. But they lost 10 in a row till they lost one last night.
Yeah, they've not looked good. They've not looked good. In Wyoming, they won today. They beat New Mexico. Peasley was 10 of 21 for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So he finally got some passing at the end of the game to go. But the one thing, Wyoming held Air Force to under 200 yards rushing. That's scary to think that their defense can be that good.
Wow.
So that's the one thing. Air Force, Wyoming will be on the defense. And New Mexico and Colorado State hasn't been good on neither side of the ball up until now. So you can't take it off the gas. We got to keep our offense moving and our defense moving in this next week.
Yeah, I think if the defense has been solid, if they continue to play that way, and if we can keep up with the offensive creativity like we had tonight, I think it can be something special. But like you said, you got to keep the foot on the gas, keep the momentum, keep learning even from the small things that didn't go well tonight, but then keep building off the things that did go well and keep that momentum going in the right direction.
I mean, it's not a perfect game, I'm sure. When they go back and watch the film, they'll find some things that they can work on, correct, and get better at.
I just got a text that came through, 2886, said on the postgame, Johnny Carter said Coach Bonda went somewhere over the offseason to learn a better scheme against a triple option. Any idea where he went?
Maybe he went to Navy. Maybe he went to Army.
I know he spent time with the Patriots, but I don't imagine they would have taught him a lot about how to defend the triple option.
But and then he did pick up Johnny Carter. Somebody was saying they was patting him on the back or hugging him or whatever. He picked him up.
Oh, yeah, he lifted and put him on his shoulder and carried him off the field.
Yeah.
Coach Bonda, he came from Miami.
Yes.
So he would have played Georgia Tech, who ran the triple option offense for several years too. So
maybe somewhere along the way he had somebody that was connected with that. But, whatever. It was better than last year by far, and that's what we needed to have to be able to stay in the game. But our offense did keep pace, and like Cooper said, we're never down by more than a score, and that's a key deal. And you get up by more than a score against Air Force like we did in this game, and it makes it tough for them to win, and that's what ended up happening. So, all right, Zach, anything else? Hey, it's been fun to have you back in. You still doing fine?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
How's the new baby doing?
Baby's coming in January, so we're prepping for that.
That's right. It was coming. You made the announcement. I was thinking, it was born already, but you guys
January,
made the announcement. Okay.
So super excited. Things are good.
And you guys still planning on making the trip to Colorado Springs, or is that
not
Colorado
now.
Springs, to Fort Collins?
Now that Kyle's not
traveling, we canceled the trip.
What has this done to Kyle? That's got to be really hard to have a season-ending injury for him.
Yeah, it's definitely tough for him, but Kyle's a very resilient individual. He saw it as opportunities to help his teammates. I know he just barely had surgery this week, so he wasn't on the sideline tonight, but he was there the previous games. When the other slot receivers would come off, he was like an additional coach for Coach Cefalo, discussing what he saw. So it's hard, but he's seeing it as an opportunity to help the other receivers grow as well during this time.
Okay, well, don't have him get down because he was just starting to make a few plays, and then all of a sudden this happened. I mean, it had to be. And I didn't really notice getting hurt badly in the game. Did it happen on one particular play or something?
It happened on, I think it was a third down. He went up and caught a high ball, And then just the way he came down with all the force, I think it tweaked his knee weird. He still played the rest of the game on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought he didn't finish the game. He finished the game.
He finished the game, but
and then they looked at it after. Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah.
Well, Zach, it's been nice having you here, and
Appreciate
we're going to try to reach out to you anytime we can. Okay.
Thank you.
And tell your family all hi.
Will do.
Eric, anything else from you?
No, exciting win. It was a great football game today. I mean, it was exciting, like start to finish. Yeah, those Air Force drives can get kind of long and lull you to sleep a little, but I thought even then it was exciting football, start to finish tonight, and great to see Utah State play well in every phase of the game, get the win. They're still very much in the hunt. Not just to get bowl eligible, but to be in a position to represent the Mountain Division.
Still probably going to have to beat Boise at the end of the year. That's probably going to have to happen. And that's one thing they're hurdle.
It'll come down to
but
that.
you might get to that. And again, those last two games, San Jose and Boise, might end up being the two interesting games to have to take care of to stay in that spot. Thank you, Eric, as well. We appreciate the sponsorship. Alpine Home Medical, premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment and service provider. They offer a variety of home medical equipment and products for your needs. And we also want to mention Golden Spike Electric. They have Generac backup generators ready for winter to keep you always safe in your home, your business, wherever, with your power on. 257-3016. So I think we've touched on most of the stats. Aggies had 21 first downs. Air Force had 20. Aggies rushed for 199, Air Force for 264. Aggies have 18 passes completed for 215 yards, so 18 out of 23. Air Force was 5 of 12, 95 yards through the air. We mentioned the penalties, and then the turnovers were 2-1. Air Force had 2. The Aggies won. First time we won the turnover battle in a while in the game. We punted twice, they punted twice, and the Aggies had just 25 minutes to get their 34 points on the board, and Air Force had 34 and a half minutes to get their 27 on the board. They were 7 of 13 on third downs. They started 4 for 4, then we stopped them 4 straight times, but they were 7 for 13. The Aggies, a respectable 5 for 12, considering where they were. But both teams were 2 for 2 on fourth downs in this game. We mentioned Tyler had 109 yards rushing. Legas had 76. Vaughn had 15. And Legas ended up with 215 yards passing, 18 of 23. Cobb's 8 catches, 136 yards. Vaughn caught 4 for 52. Both had a touchdown. Nana Davis had 3 for 20. McGriff had 1 for 6. Tyler had 2 for 1 yard. And Roberts, 136 yards, but he had 108 at the half. And at one time of the game, they didn't use him as much, it seemed like. But Eldridge had 52. Daniels, the quarterback, had 34, and he was, we mentioned, 5 of 12 in the game. So that's the stats for Cache Valley Bank. No two businesses are the same. Why should banking solutions be any different? They always will do some banking solutions for you. So it's the Aggies and Colorado State coming up next Saturday. That's still a 5 o'clock game. CBS Sports Network, I think it is, for next week. So we're back on at 3:30 for our pregame game day next week before we'll do it. And then after the game, we'll be back to take your calls, your texts, and we'll talk about the Aggies and Colorado State on the road. I know some Aggie fans will probably be headed over there to watch it. And if you do, call in from over there and let us know how it was at that brand new Canvas Stadium over there, where the Aggies, again, have been able to go over there and play Colorado State and play pretty well at times against the Rams, and let's hope they can do it again against a team that did finally get a win last night against Nevada. But the Aggies win tonight. That's the most important. 34-27 the final. And that's it for game day. We'll join the programs that we normally have on, The Fan and KVNU in progress now. For Zach Van Leeuwen and for Eric Franson and the sponsors, Al Lewis, good night.
It all